What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great day. Beautiful week. Beautiful week. Just gonna cover some things. You know, Number one, I have an hourly chart open here. Right? This is the SPX hourly. Let's just go with the SPX USD first because obviously some things have changed, right? We'll go over the 24-hour one, and just gonna cover rates and stuff too after. So here, the 39.50 zone, basically, if we just zoom out on the hourly chart, sometimes hourly charts are very helpful. When we get a single ripper or a big move, we know the zones where things struggle, right? And this zone we know on the hourly chart, we can see around the 39.50 on November 17th, we had a lot of consolidation for a few days, right? It lasted for 4 or 5 days. And then same thing here on November 29th and November 30th, we had a big move, right? And then it was just a complete fade down, okay? And now we broke below it without any stop. We broke below it, but we know in the previous that we were here for a while, and now this became resistance instead. It's trying to break out here. The question is, do we break above here or no? And we do have our zero gamma level at 39.80 as well. You all know what that means, that we have our volatility trigger at 4,000. So in short, to put this together in short, just to let you guys know, so technically under 4,000, we remain bearish, right? We remain bearish in the markets, all right? So which is now in favor of bears. And if we go over the daily charts now, if we go over the daily chart, one level that's very important here is one level which is very important. Now I'm just going to remove these gamma levels. Is 39.25, right? This 39.25 gamma level goes way back many months, right? 39.25 level. This is a very strong level, and it's been in play every time we approach towards it. And this level, if we base below it, market will probably go lower. If we base above it, I cannot fight for a bear case, even though I'm long-term bearish, but in short term, we can definitely bounce back up from here. You know, when they made the market look so bad here on this dip, if you guys remember, and then on this dip, if you guys remember, they ripped it right back up, right? They ripped it right back up. So the question is here, from here, they can rip it right back up and even take it higher, even though the sentiment is now turning bearish in the markets, all right? So just keep that in mind. So 39.25, we need to base underneath it, have a daily close underneath it, and then we'll probably have another big fall down. And downside candle will be a big one, it won't be a small one. It'll be something of this sort, right, when it takes place, something like this, all right? So we'll see what happens with that. And for now, another thing to keep in mind, DXY dollar, a nice little downtrend pattern for the last few weeks. All right, the question is, can it hold around this support line? Can it hold this support zone here or the measurement zone, right? Can we reverse back from here, or we're going to give up these gains and then come back lower? Because if dollar keeps coming down, that's actually a plus for the markets, all right? But if the dollar goes up here, so if the dollar goes up from here, and if you guys also see UB bonds also continue going up with the dollar going up, then we know that the recession they're expecting, and the market's probably going to head much lower in the equities in the coming year, all right? That will be one big signal, all right? And right now bonds have been strong. There's a lot of inflows that have been coming in. It's the resistance here. Let's see what happens here from it. The rates, US 10-year rates, have been weak. They're back to from the breakout level of 3.5. Let's see if we hold here or do we go back above from here. In the long run, if we see it, if you just zoom out, it's still a nice little uptrend if we think about it. It's still a nice little uptrend. And if we go on the weekly chart, a bigger picture, this is just a very small dip on a huge, massive uptrend. All right, and it makes sense here because 3.5, 3, 4 zone was very it was support resistance for a long time. And if we go on the monthly chart, you guys can see that this is bullish. There's nothing bearish about this. Bearish in the sense these charts are looked at it differently, obviously, but just in the sense that these rates were held here for a long time, and now as we base above it, if things are not cooling down or the way the market wants it, these rates have to break out higher then, right? And when these rates break out higher, that puts more pressure on tech or NQ especially, right? So just remember these things. And SPX monthly chart, a nice little bull flag here, but this is more of a downtrend chart, and I would not draw a bull trend here, but based on the fundamentals. Because if you guys go back to the monthly charts, in the long run, they do make things look bullish, right? Even here, they made people think the market is basing here, we're going to go up. And then the same thing here, right? And then same thing here, they made people think that the market is finally, the bear market is over, we're going to go up. But then it lost a lot of lows, right? And then same thing happened in 2008. And if you guys go back to 1987, if you guys have those charts, you guys will see the same similar thing happen. If you guys go back in the 1970s, right, Paul Volcker, when inflation was completely high, we were sideways. We were sideways for I've studied this market. I studied very well. I read a lot on this market when it took place from here. So a lot of comments that I make, well, because I read a lot in this market, even though the times are different, but the money policy is still the same, right? I mean, this sideways movement is what scares me for the coming years. This is what scares me, that this is possible on S&P if it takes place in the coming, for the next 2-3 years. And if this takes place, market will be very hard to trade. They'll give you bullish and bearish setups. Basically, we gotta keep taking our profits back off the table. So something like this is also possible here. When you look at this Paul Walker era, right? What's possible here is that something like this is possible, and trust me, it sounds crazy, but it's possible. Personally, all-time highs, I'm not even looking forward to any. Like, it's a no for me for a long time. Forget it, at least for me. And if we do get all-time highs one more time, like, to be honest, what I believe is gonna happen with all the research I've done now, if we do get all-time highs, right, I think it's gonna break lows again, maybe in 2024-25, right? That's how the world, the global stuff is shaped up, right? But these are just my opinions. So let's see what happens. But from here, from the monthly, I think it's better if we go down here directly, because I think the recovery will be much faster and better. If the market goes up from here, the recovery will take much longer. All right. So, but again, who cares what happens on a long-term basis? We're trading day to day, so it really doesn't matter. So if I do have to trade at all-time highs, I will. But today, just remember 39.25. We'll see what happens, and I'll be on voice all day. Obviously, give you guys some gamma updates, and we'll go from there. But 39.25, don't fight it. Let's see what happens. WFC also another great play that we had, and what a beautiful play. The thing with the WFC was just something to learn from options perspective. All right, so you guys understand options, how they work. Now, my entry on WFC was here. So I got the Jan 40 monthlies, right? So I got them at $1, I believe, or 90 cents, and then my second ad was at 50 cents, right? And yesterday I sold everything at $1.03. All my remaining I sold here. The thing here is, WFC, my entry was around these days, around here. I think it was, if I'm not wrong, it was around these days, right? My entry on WFC. But this time decay, because this stock moves so slow, right? I mean, it never goes, when it goes in consolidation for many days, that time decay and theta hit me really bad, right? So I lost a lot of value, which I should have. But my whole idea was this waterfall, and I told you guys this beforehand, there's a waterfall from 45 all the way towards 42 bucks. Now, how did I know this? Or how did I have an idea of this? This is basically when I started the monthly gamma exported, and what I saw, there was a lot of space to be covered here via options. There was nothing in between for support and stuff, right? So my point here is, if you guys pay attention to these things and learn certain things on gamma, how things work, you guys can actually kind of get a head start that, you know, something like this will happen if a certain level breaks. You guys, many of you guys took 100%, 200% profits because you guys were at 30 cents. Congrats. LB absolutely nailed his entry, right? JC, many of you guys. But one thing you guys have to understand, when you have a cheap option, now I held these options patiently, right? They went down all the way towards 30 cents. Why did I hold them? Because I even told you guys beforehand, if we break a certain level, volatility is going to kick in on options, right? That's just how the Greek works. You guys gotta learn all those things. And from 30 cents, if you understood these things, some of you guys that had entries at 30 cents, right? After taking some profits, let's say if you left some runners for free, if you had 10 counter, you leave another 4 for free. These went over 200%. I mean, instead of selling at 50 cents or 60 cents, right? These went over $1 yesterday, $1.05, right? So, and when things come close to the money, they move really fast. Right now they're trading $1.03, but if WFC breaks $40 this month alone, if we break this 40 bucks by any chance, if something happens, let's say there's a lot of time, the market takes a dip, and this thing by any chance loses support after, and they just sell off banks, and we get this level of 36, 38, these are going to be trading at $4, right? Because delta will be 1 in the money, and these options will be going up so fast, right? Some of you guys left the runners, congrats. And I'm going to be looking at financial ads again to the downside. I'm going to buy puts again on financials. I think they have a long way to go. When I look at the monthly charts, I think these things yet have to break down. They haven't broken down, and these things will need to break down once to reset the economy. I think they'll break down. They'll take out these lows, or at least hit towards 20 or so. So I'm patiently waiting for my entry, because this is a very tight zone on WFC on the monthly. Anyways, Thank you so much, and like and subscribe. We'll do more of these as the time comes. Right, I know I've cut down lately the last 1-2 months. uh, I mean, we cover everything on